Welcome, Just Rats viewers. Well, I was supposed to go live yesterday because it was Wednesday, and I was going to reveal the recommended read of the week. But because of technical difficulties, I was unable to make that happen. So we're going to reveal the read of the week today. The topic that I'm going to talk about today is all about attitude and having a positive attitude. And over the years that I've trained sales professionals and leaders out there, I talk about attitude, and I believe there's 5 ingredients that make up a great positive attitude. And we're going to discuss what those 5 ingredients are today. It might be able to give you some guidance on improving your attitude. And we're probably going to talk a little bit about the Yankees. The Yankees, we got a little bit of a situation, Yankee fan, and I'm sure the Red Sox fans aren't shedding any tears over this, or the rest of the baseball anti-Yankee universe. So let's start with that. Right now, the Yankees are down 2 pitchers, 2 starting pitchers. CC, say what you want about him, he's on his end of his career, but he did pitch 180 innings last year, and he is the heart of the pitching staff as far as being a veteran and also in the locker room. He's going to be out a month. They're going to start him off on the DL, and basically the work he had done on his heart and his knee being scoped. So he's not going to be ready well into April. And Severino, that shoulder, he's not going to be able to start throwing again for 2 or 3 weeks. So he's going to start from zero. Well, all pitchers in spring, they come to spring training to pitch for 5-6 weeks. So if he doesn't start throwing until March 20th, he won't be ready till probably mid-April if things go good. So right now we're down 2 pitchers. I don't think they're going to sign a free agent because that person would be behind the clock also. They're not in spring training either. So either they'll try to pull off a trade, or if there's a couple young pitchers in the minors they'll bring up, and maybe they'll try to tread water. But one thing is for sure, going up against the Red Sox, you cannot get far behind them. And coming out of in the first month of baseball, it was important to come out of the gate strong. It's hard to catch up. But we'll see what happens. And feel free to leave a couple comments on what your thoughts are on what the Yankees should do. On the topic of positive attitude, all week long on my Instagram, I've been giving an ingredient of the 5 ingredients of what makes up a positive attitude. And each day I talk about one of the ingredients. I did one for each day of the week so far. So you'll see all 5 of them in this episode right now. So let's kick it off. There's a handful. There's people out there that believe they have a great attitude and they don't need any fixing, and it is what it is. And they realize, if you listen to some of these ingredients, they realize, well, maybe my attitude needs a little fixing. There are people out there that know they have a bad attitude and it is what it is, and they ain't changing. They'll say, if people don't accept me for who I am, the hell with them. And then there's people out there who they know they have some attitude flaws and they want to improve upon themselves. And hopefully, I'll be able to give you some guidance tonight. Now, of the 5 ingredients, the very first one that I talked about in the beginning of the week on Instagram was saying the word no is going to be very important in your life. A lot of people bark the word no quite a few times in a day, and I would say that is a common occurrence from people who have kids. They have a stressful job, they have employees, they have demanding customers, and before you know it, they're saying no to everybody, and that comes across in a harsh way, harsh tone sometimes, and that people will look at you differently, but also your attitude won't be the greatest because you just feel like you're always saying no, and it brings you down. Now, I'm not saying you guys say yes every time to everything. That's not what I'm saying. It's how you tell people. And if you could avoid saying no to customers or no to your child a couple, 100 times a week, believe me, it'll make a big difference on how people see you and how you feel. And for example, that was something I had to work on. There was moments in my life that I would just see my son and just say no, and he'll go, "What's that for?" I don't know, but I know you're gonna do something stupid or ask something stupid in the upcoming hour or two, so I'm telling you no right now. And it just something I needed to work on, and I realized I was saying it too much at one time in my life, and I really worked on it, and now I don't always say yes to my son. I just word things a little bit differently. And the same way with employees or customers. If they, "Hey, can I have a 10% discount?" No. There's another way of saying it. We don't have a program like that. Let me tell you why we're not offering discounts. There's just different ways that you could come across without barking that word no. And sometimes you even could say yes, because you just get in a habit of saying no. And the more times you say yes and the less no's that you say in a day, it's amazing how your attitude will increase. And it'll make people around you will like you better, and it'll make you feel a little bit better. So that's the first ingredient. The second ingredient, people have, I don't want to say argued with me, but sort of challenged me a little bit on this. You have to cut negative people out of your life, and sometimes that's hard, because that could be your best friend, or it could be a relative. The people who are extraordinarily negative, and you know it, but those people bring you down. And the one thing about a positive attitude, it's very contagious. People like being around people with a positive attitude. But let me tell you, people with a negative attitude, that could bring you down also. That is contagious. People who are constantly complaining, they'll complain about anything. There wasn't enough pepperoni on the pizza. I don't have a job because of the bad weather out there. I don't have a job because of the economy. I didn't like the temperature of the soup. I didn't like this politician. I didn't like how he played the game last night. They just constantly complain. And believe me, that will rub off on you. And over time, you will start picking up some of those traits. And it will not help you get to the level of having a great positive attitude. So sometimes it's a hard decision to sort of cut this person out of your life. But if you want to move forward and have people respect you, and you feel good about how you work with people and treat people, this is a tough decision. And sometimes you have to move on until they fix things. And then maybe that relationship could go back to the way it was at one time. But right now, you need to cut that person out of your life. The third thing, the third ingredient, is having passion about something. Now, having passion about your job or about raising your kids, that's not really what I'm talking about. That just tells me you're not a bum. And having passion about a hobby, if you like to garden, you like to jog, 5K races, cooking, it could be anything. Bowling, skiing. Those people who do something else out there that have a hobby makes them feel good inside. They don't even have to be good at it. They could stink at it. There was a time for years that I played a lot of golf. Now, I was self-taught. That translates to what? That I stunk at it. I don't get to play golf as much anymore because of raising my son and work. I don't get out there. I only get out there a couple times. But at one time, I was playing once or twice a week, and I loved it, and I was very passionate about it. But I stunk at it. But it didn't matter. I loved it. I do things different. I've pulled away from golf. I got some. I have a few other things I'm passionate about. One of them being cooking. I love to cook. I love to entertain and cook for people. But when you have that passion about something, and it could be, like I said, it could be anything, boy, that makes you feel good. And when you feel good, your attitude feels good. So that's that would be the third ingredient. Have a passion about something other than work and family. It will make you a better person and your attitude will skyrocket. The fourth thing is something that's, I don't know, it's running rampant in the United States right now. You have to watch less news. Now, people go, what? I need my news. And it's like, I meet people every day. They'll watch an hour or two in the morning from their tablet to their iPhone to the television in the morning before they leave. They're updating all news reports throughout the whole morning. At lunch, they're reading some kind of news report on Yahoo. And then they get home, they watch this personality for 3 hours. They're watching 4 or 5 hours of news. Now, most news channels anymore, they have a set agenda. Now, what that agenda is not what this is about, this conversation. But think about this. The news that you're watching, the channels that you've selected to watch, they like to create controversy. Controversy drives ratings. Ratings brings in advertisers. Without that controversy, there's no advertisers. And they're all, like, they're preying on us, these news agencies. You have to watch less news. You become more opinionated. You alienate yourself from other people who have different opinions from yourself. And you become really like rough-edged. Okay, you're not open to different ideas, and this will affect your attitude in a negative way. You might not like to do business with someone because of the news channel they watch or who they voted for, and that is the farthest thing from having a positive attitude. You got to have an open mind. So stop with the news watching. I recommend 20 to 30 minutes a day. You watch 10-15 minutes of local news to find out what's going on in your backyard. Another 10-15 minutes of news of what's happening internationally. All right? National/internationally. Just so you're educated on what's going on in the world. And that's probably all you need. And the more you watch, I tell you, the more negative you're going to be and more judgmental you will be of other people. So, I know that's a tough one, but I strongly recommend it. And the fifth one, the fifth ingredient I'd like to talk about is, this is the final one. And this is just leading a healthy life. Now, when I tell people about leading a healthy life, the first thing they think of is exercise and food. All right? And I'm not talking about those two things necessarily. Now, those two things are very important. I'm not discrediting them. I'm talking about the other things in life. All right? Are you the kind of person on an afternoon that would rather watch reruns of Barney Miller with a 12-pack of beer and a pizza? Or are you the kind of person, maybe go for a walk, go for a bike ride, leave the house, go to the farmer's market, even if you don't buy anything, just to get out there? Are you the kind of person that dinner time, you grab your plate of food, you sit down with your phone, but so does your other two kids, your wife, everybody's got a nice dish of food, and they got the phones in front of them, and they don't eat at the dining room table. They're eating all over the house. I believe a healthy life would be family eating together and talking about their day, and no phones. Don't worry, anything that's on your phone will be there in 22 minutes. It'll still be there. It's not going to go away. And I just think that these small things will add up to be leading to a healthy life. I believe sometimes if you look in the refrigerator and you have all the ingredients to make a wonderful meal for the family that night, but you say, I just don't feel like it. So laziness sat in, and quick run to McDonald's. To me, that's not leading a healthy life. Is there a place for McDonald's? Yes. I'm not going to tell you I never pull in and request a quarter pounder. But if it's a common occurrence, those are the things you have to worry about. So in getting out there is big. Getting off the couch is huge. And doing things together more as a family and conversing with family and visiting family, to me, is leading a healthy life. And when you add all these 5 ingredients together, you would be amazed on the positive attitude that you will have, and that will spread, and people will want to be around you. That's the key. People will want to work with you, people will want to hang out with you, and people will look at you for advice. And it's amazing, the people who know they have to improve their attitude, they know it, and they're not afraid to say it. And I hope these ingredients will give you some guidance to get to the level of attitude that you would like to have. Now, it's time for the reveal of the recommended read of the week. Now, since I talked about attitude today and throughout the week on Instagram, and in case you want to follow me on Instagram, I do a video, usually 4 or 5 times a week, and just go to Fratzed, F-R-A-T-Z-E-D. You can follow me on Instagram. But the recommended read of the week is from an author who Boston fans are going to love it, because all his books are written on probably a 6th grade reading level, and that's done on purpose, not to be insulting. And it's got big print, it's got pictures. That's why the Boston fans will like this book. But the person, he writes a lot of books for business and leadership. And this book, it's written by Jeffrey Gitomer, and he's a great author of business books and trainings. And he makes a lot of books in color. All right, so that's this one's the little gold book of Yes, and this is all about attitude. And he gives you some self-assessments in here to see where your attitude is. Some of the things I discussed today possibly might be in this book, but I strongly recommend this read because it's pretty quick and easy. That's why sales reps love his books. Big print, all right? And the thing about Jeffrey's books, you could read this whole book in less than an hour probably, and then, or you can just pick it up, read 2-3 pages, close it up, and move on. And also, in case you're wondering, I picked on the Red Sox fans a little bit. Jeffrey's a big Philadelphia Philly fan, so just throw that out there. But the little gold book of Yes Attitude, it's a awesome book. I've trained that class many times, and I strongly recommend it if you want to work on your attitude. It's a great $10 investment, and $15, something along those lines. Invest in yourself, like I talked about last week. Take $10-15, especially if you want to make improvements. Well, that's all I have for you today. I do want to ask of you if you're new to this my channel, please subscribe, and please hit that like button, the thumbs up button, if you thought this content was worth your while, and please share it. Let people know about the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you ever want to email me, just send it to ed@fratzt.com, and I will get back to you rather quickly. Also, feel free to leave any comments or questions that you might have. I want to thank you for the time that you took to watch this video. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.